Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, Frugalisama. My name's Sam and this is where I talk about all things sewing. Today is day 66 of 100 days of sewing and this is a Frugal Friday video with a little bit of a difference. Today I'm going to be talking about all the winners for the Frugal Frocks challenge. What I'm going to do is run through the winners and go through the dresses that they made, maybe give you a little bit of inspiration of some new dresses for you. So first of all, I'd just like to say thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed so far. I just went over 5,000 subscribers on Wednesday and that's just truly amazing. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. So thank you very, very much. And also a quick shout out to the people who have donated to my Ko-fi account as well. I have actually got a Ko-fi or a coffee account, whatever you like to call it, which I'll link below. I've never ever talked about it, I've just snuck it in there and it was really kind of you to actually do that. Thank you very much. So if you've not already subscribed and you like videos about sewing, I try to bring sewing videos that are based on frugal sewing, hence the Frugalisama. So sewing on a budget, and anybody who's new to sewing, I've got some videos with hints and tips as well. So usually on a Friday I have a Frugal Fridays video. I've been doing that since about November. But like I say, today's is just going to be a tiny little bit different. I've brought out 2 videos already this week and I haven't had time to do all the research that I normally do. So what I'm going to do is have a quick run through the winners' dresses and just do a bit of a winners gallery, if you like. So I'd just like to thank everyone who took part in the Frugal Frocks challenge. It was absolutely amazing. So that means all the vloggers that took part. There was over 40 vloggers that took part in the challenge, spreading the word and giving people ideas. All the people who sponsored us. We had 22 winners in this challenge. I think there were about 14 sponsors, but some of them actually gave more than one prize. In my book, everybody was a winner in this challenge because we liberated so much fabric out of the stash, and I think a lot of people discovered a lot of new pattern companies, found some new free patterns to try, and even people who maybe didn't get a chance to complete their dresses. Maybe you just didn't have time to take part this time, but you found something and put it on your Pinterest board. My greatest hope for this challenge, really, and Roanne's, who co-hosted it with me, was for people to really discover the world of free sewing patterns. There's so many out there and there's so many still to be discovered. If that's all that you did, then job well done on mine and Roanne's part, I think. So if you look on the tag on Instagram, there are over 1,000 tags on Instagram giving you inspiration, sneak peeks. Poor old Roanne had to go through all those in order to pick out the actual contestants, because some of them were sneak peeks, so we were only doing the reveal date on the 31st of March. Over 700 people actually took part in the challenge. It was just absolutely amazing. So very luckily, early doors, Roanne and I decided that this was going to be a prize draw rather than actually picking winners. Luckily we did that, because for us to actually go through 700 people, we just wouldn't have been able to do it. So we just did it as a random prize draw. We picked out randomly the 22 winners. And we were very lucky that early doors also that we were able to offer it out internationally. I suppose the main prize would have been the haberdashery bundle from Minerva. They quite kindly said they were happy to post that out internationally. So any free patterns that we had donated, we made those for international contestants as well. Originally we were going to do all prizes from Yorkshire based companies, so you will notice quite a lot of the companies within it are Yorkshire based because we contacted those first and they very happily contributed. As the snowball got rolling, then lots of other people wanted to join in and actually approached us and asked if they could donate prizes as well. So it's been absolutely fantastic and we were being absolutely blown away with it. Today's video I'm just going to look at the winners' dresses. Now amongst some of the winners' dresses, some of the patterns aren't available freely to everybody. Again, early doors, Roanne and I took the decision to say, as long as that pattern was free to you, then you were able to enter. The only sort of line that we drew on that one was that we asked for it not to be within a pattern book, because obviously there's a cost to buying a pattern book and it's not really free, it's more stash. But other than that, we did sort of say, if you got the pattern for free as a gift in a sewing magazine, or a friend's given it to you, or your mum's lent it to you, then that was eligible. So that's just to clarify a few things. I know a few people have questioned, well, that's not a free pattern, but we couldn't possibly go around everybody's houses and check, so that's just to clarify a few things. So as I'm running through these winners, there will be a few patterns that have been free with sewing magazines. I don't class those as being freely available to everybody for the purpose of this video. So I'm not going to go into the details of those, so just to keep it a little bit more brief as well. So what I'm going to do is show you the contestants' dresses and also on the designers' models as well. I thought it might be useful for people to see the dresses worn on normal bodies, shall we say, not models' bodies. So I don't like to say real people because models are real people, but you know what I mean. What I'd love to have done is to have gone through all the tags and sort of find out what was the most popular dress, but it would have been too time consuming. I did see a lot of Galena dresses, which is a dress that I'm wearing today, one that I made for the challenge. I saw a lot of the Orla dresses, I think that's been a popular one, and quite a lot of dresses made from Peppermint magazine. So I'm going to start there with Peppermint magazine with the summer pleated dress. The Crafting the Cart Shed made the summer pleated dress. This was a truly frugal one, and this actually impressed me because she used an old duvet cover and some of her daughter's old dresses for some of the contrast plackets and what have you. It's got quite a loose fitting bodice with bust darts and a hidden placket down the front. So you've got bias binding around the neck, the armholes, and then you've got this yoke, and then it goes into the pleated skirt. So quite loose fitting, and I think it's got pockets as well. It is a great one for building your skills. It goes from a 30-inch bust up to a 51.5-inch bust. And Crafting the Cart Shed won a voucher from an anonymous donor, you know who you are because I know you watch, for a fabric shop of her choice. So thank you for that. That was lovely, a lovely gesture. And the donor just said that she wanted to give back to the sewing community. So I mean, it was just the epitome really of what this challenge was about. So another one from Peppermint magazine is the everyday dress. This is a great versatile dress because you can wear it back to front. You've got a V-neck or a rounded neck, and you can just swap it round, so you've got 2-in-1 with this dress. So this one's been designed by In the Folds, and they do encourage you actually to use stash fabric actually within the pattern instructions. It's a nice little dress. You've got your V-neck, you've got your round neck, you've got grown on boxy sleeves, and then you've got splits at the hem, and then you've got a tie detail and pockets. Sticks and Knits, who made this, won the Wendy Ward book, the Beginner's Guide to Sewing book, and she made it in an Ankara fabric, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So the suggested fabrics for it is cotton, a linen, a chambray or a silk. So yeah, it's just a knee-length, oversized dress and very, very versatile. It's one of those where the fabric choice will dress it up or make it more casual looking. What I really love about In the Folds is, as well as them encouraging you to use stash fabric, they actually encourage you to take it slow whilst you're sewing. So it's encouraging you to build your skills and consider how the dress will fit into your lifestyle. So probably why it's called an everyday dress. So Kennedy Flair won the voucher for Beyond the Pink Door, and Andrea at Beyond the Pink Door, she also has a YouTube channel, and she very kindly donated a voucher to her lovely fabric shop. And Kennedy Flair used a pattern that isn't actually freely available, but she got it for free. But it's a pattern company that I'd never heard of, so I thought I'd just mention it. It's If Kim Wore Clothes again, and she made the Megan dress. And it's absolutely gorgeous. It's got lots of tiers and ruffles. She used lots of leftovers from other projects, so I thought that was a proper frugal effort there. If Kim Wears Clothes has an Etsy shop, and her patterns are only about £6 or £7, so it might be worth a look. It's got a very nice aesthetic if you like lots of ruffles and gathers. There's some really nice patterns on there. I've never heard of that pattern company before, so I thought I'd just mention it. So we had a couple of entries for patterns that were made with Fabric Store patterns. Fabric Store design patterns usually for linens, but I've made a couple of patterns from their free patterns, and I've used linens and I've used like a crepe and things like that. This one is by Sews and Snips, and she won the £15 fold line voucher, and she made the most gorgeous lace maxi dress using the Avery pattern. The Avery pattern is a button-up shirt dress, so you've got all your classic shirt dress features. So you've got a collar, you've got a button placket, an elbow length sleeve, and then it's gathered into the waist. Now if you're thinking this sounds familiar and looks familiar, I think so too. Very similar to the Lyra that I made recently by Tilly and the Buttons. I think there are some differences, but it's very, very similar. This one's got 2 tiers, it's got bust darts, quite loose at the waist, and I'm not sure whether it's got pockets or not, but that's quite easy to add. Same for a belt as well. But she made it into a maxi dress using lace, and I thought it was absolutely inspired. So what she did, she made a grasser slip dress to go underneath it in a contrast colour, and then this lace dress full length. And she said it's something that she'd been imagining for a long time, and I think it turned out absolutely fabulous, this. So she actually made 2 dresses. It just goes to show how different a pattern will look in a different fabric. I do think that this pattern will work really well in a chambray, also in the linen, any woven fabric really, a cotton. But I think Sews and Snits made a fantastic job of that. Just to reiterate, this is something that the challenge gave her the impetus and motivation to actually get that dream out of her head and into reality. Sheena Beatty used a Butterick pattern 5488, and she won the Lamaze voucher, £20 voucher to Lamaze. I think she said it was free from Love Sewing, but she'd picked it up in a swap, or somebody had brought it to a sewing club or something. And I thought this was lovely because she actually commented that this is her first ever challenge. This pattern's not freely available unless you actually got the sewing magazine, so I'm not going to go into too many details of it, but she made a fantastic job of it and it looks really, really lovely. She made a dress out of a sea salt fabric that she'd had, a cotton voile, I think, that she'd had in her stash for a long time. Lucy Moore won the sewing machine cover from Crazy Little Homebird, and she made the Halle Agnes swing dress. This is a really versatile dress, and one that I've come across whilst I've been doing the challenge. Very similar to the Laundry Day tee that I made, except that it's got pockets. Designed for knits, I think the same 50% stretch and a 4-way stretch, such as a cotton lycra or a double stretch poly or even a French terre. So this has got lots of options, a bit like the Laundry Day tee. It is scoop necked, but got lots of hemline options. You can wear it as a top, you can wear it as a dress, a maxi option as well. And the long sleeved version has cuffs. This has got a great size range as well, it goes from 0 to 30. So this pattern is free if you join their Facebook group. So Lucy made hers as a knee length because she didn't have enough to make the maxi, in a really gorgeous blue fabric. And what she said is that it reconnected her with sewing because she'd lost the motivation a bit. So again, it's another reason to get involved with challenges, just to give you a bit of impetus and motivation to get to the end, to actually have a finished product at the end. So Little Time was Karen, and she has a YouTube channel and she was part of the vlogger team, and this just goes to show that everybody got thrown in quite randomly. It was a complete random draw. We didn't exclude the sewing vloggers, they put in as much work as everybody else. And Karen actually made 2 dresses. She won a Forget Me Not PDF pattern. She made a shirt dress which she got free in one of her sewing magazines. And then she also made the Noor dress, Noor, and that's from Fabric Store, another one from Fabric Store. And that's a wrap style dress, so this is a true wrap dress, but she made it sleeveless. Now, I don't know if she made it sleeveless through design choice or whether she didn't have enough fabric, but yeah, she made 2 really lovely dresses there. In the sample on the Fabric Store, the dress has contrast ties, but you can do whatever you like with the ties. I think it does look nice in the sample, it gives it just a bit of an edgy look. So next up is So Alina Loves, and she won the B&M bundle, which was some scissors and a pattern and some calico. She made 6 dresses for this challenge. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. So this has been amazing. She's only been sewing for 6 months and she seems absolutely fearless. So she made a couple of different ones. There weren't 6 all different ones. She made the Little Lizard King Galena dress in a short sleeve version. 2 Orla dresses, that's a French navy dress. And then she made a dress from Tilly and the Buttons book, which, like I said earlier, we weren't really allowing that, but I mean, good on her. She also made a Simplicity K9042, which came with a sewing magazine. If you're new to starting sewing, just take a leaf out of Alina's book. She seems completely fearless. She's done invisible zips, hacking the Galena as well. So yeah, she had a fantastic effort. So I'll just talk briefly about the Barden, which is another loosely fitted sleeveless dress, and it's quite loose fitting. You've got a couple of darts and it's got pockets, and you've got 2 tiers. And if you're not a big fan of gathering ruffles into smaller areas, you know, the large expanses of ruffles, this week I've just put out a video to help you do that using elastic. It's just a little trick that I use. It's actually a video that I promised to put out when I first started doing YouTube videos, and I've eventually got round to it. And the dress that you see me working on is actually the Barden dress. And the beauty of the Barden dress is that you can just print off the bodice pages, and the ruffles, the tiers, are just rectangles. They give you the measurements to measure that off straight off your fabric, so you've not got a lot of printing to do. do with this one. So that goes from a 29-inch bust up to a 51-inch bust, and it is designed for somebody who's 5'7" and a B cup, and it is a really lovely dress, and Alina's made some fantastic dresses there. And she also made the Arla dress, which I'm going to talk about next. Karine Appleby made the Arla dress, and she won the Ethel and Joan voucher. The Arla dress has been doing the round for quite a long time. Quite a simple dress. It's just a darted bodice, and then you've got a zip at the back with a gathered skirt and a bias-bound neck. The only issue really I've got with the Arla dress is that its size range is quite small. It only goes from a 32-inch bust to a 38-inch bust. It only takes up actually 1.5 meters of fabric though. It can be made in a viscose, a linen, a chambray, anything that's softly draping. Karine made hers with leftover cotton from other projects, and she actually swapped out the bias binding for a lining, and she said it was a truly frugal frock was this, because she used all her leftovers. And it's nice to see that one of the prizes went to a fellow Yorkshire lass, because Karine's in Scarborough, which is North Yorkshire. So next up is Kim Maddox, who made a dress that was free from one of the sewing magazines, which was the spring dress. And she said she enjoyed the challenge because she's not normally a dress wearer, but enjoyed swishing in it. And hers is lovely. Got ruffles at the sleeve and a gathered waist and a V-neck. She said it was a little bit of a head scratcher constructing the sleeves, but hopefully she's learnt something. And Kim won the £10 voucher for Specky Seamstress. My Handmade Wardrobe won the vouchers for Little Rosy Cheeks, and she made the Turnabout the Room maternity dress. So this isn't a pattern company that I've seen before, and I think it's probably not a pattern company. I think it's just somebody who has a blog post and has just developed her own pattern when she's pregnant. So this is really nice details on this actually. I think the pattern just includes the bodice, and then you just cut rectangles for the rest of it. So if there's anybody out there who is looking for maternity patterns, I think this is a really nice one. It's got this twist detail at the front and a nice neckline. She's quite chuffed that she'd pattern matched using a viscose that she got from Deep Stash. So next up is Laura Cath, who won the This Is for Makers bundle. That included a gift bag with PDF and some labels in it, and she followed the By Hand of London tutorial for the sheared dress. She said that the challenge gave her the push to give the shearing a go. She also said the shearing made the dress breastfeeding friendly as well. She skipped the ruffle cuffs and added a side splitter, and she also gave the Closet Core Patterns belt bag a go as well, and that's a free pattern. What she put on was a little label at the back that said Frugal Frocks, just in memorials. I wonder if Little Rosy Cheeks will be up for having some printed for the challenge next year for us, just for like prizes. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Laurie D 2020, she won the £25 voucher for the Sewist Fabric Shop, and she used the Simply Sewing magazine wrap dress, and she said that was her first ever dress that she's made. So what a fantastic job she made of it. She made it with a medium weight jersey that she found in her stash, and she just said it just gave her the motivation to finish, which I think, again, that's what challenges do, isn't it? It's got an end date, it gets you to finish it instead of leaving it to languish there. So the first of our international winners was Rower for Life from the States, and she won the So Different Gambit collection. So that was 4 separate PDF patterns, and Laura from So Different is a Yorkshire lass. She's just up the road from me, and she quite happily donated these prizes. She's one of the first ones on board with it. So Rower for Life self-drafted a dress, so this is amazing. It's a sheath dress, and she said that the width of the fabric determined the length of the dress because that's all she had. She used this lovely green fabric that was from her stash. Again, it just encouraged people to have a go, have a bash at drafting their own patterns, so amazing. Wandering Sewist, she also drafted her own pattern, and she's from Germany. And she won one of the Forget Me Not patterns. Joe from Forget Me Not Patterns donated 4 separate prizes. And she made this gorgeous green dress out of a viscose jersey. She said she self-drafted it, but she wasn't sure whether it's drafting or hacking because she used the Stellan Tee, which is a free pattern, as a basis, and then just extended it and put an elasticated waist in. I think she had a few problems with the bindings around the neckline and the armholes, but it turned out absolutely gorgeous, and she was giving that to her mum-in-law as a gift. So next up is Whitney from Tomcat Stitchery. I couldn't believe we drew Whitney out. But again, it just shows that it was completely random. And she's won 2 patterns from Winterwear Designs. You've seen me talk about Winterwear Designs on a fairly regular basis. I've pattern tested for Suzanne, and immediately after the pattern test I approached her and said, would you be willing to donate some prizes, and she was more than happy to do that. So Whitney used the Fabric Store Mona dress, which is quite high-necked. It's got a keyhole back and it's quite short. It's quite a short dress, and it's got these interesting pocket details, so it's got side pockets, but you top stitch them to make them look like fake patch pockets essentially. It is a trapeze dress, and Whitney had a very limited amount of fabric, made it, threw it in the wash, and I think it shrank. So she very gamely modelled it and showed us all, and she said, I know it's too short, I don't think it is, but she feels it is on her, and because it's shrunk, I think she feels it's a bit too tight at the bust as well, so she can't really rescue it for herself, but she's just going to donate it. So again, frugal fashion, she's not been in it, she's going to reuse it or donate it. So yeah, I think that'd be a lovely little summer frock for somebody that maybe a daughter might wear it. So another Winterwear Designs winner is Nicole Goodin, and she's from Australia, our first Australian winner. And she used the Fibre Mood Francis top as a basis and then extended it down into a dress. So the Francis top has got these really unusual sleeves on it, quite a boxy shape, so it's got a really wide neckline, and it just looks like Nicole's just extended it down to make it a dress length. So Nicole made it with some linen viscose mix that she had left over from another dress, and then anything that she had left over she made a pillowcase from it. And it looks like she's actually used the Forget Me Not Patterns free belt that I talked about last week, so I wonder if she pattern tested. I like how Fibre Mood advise what fabrics to use according to your body type. Not that there are any rules, you can use what you like, but they're kind of suggesting maybe use a drapier fabric if you've got a rounder body, and a stiffer fabric if you're small in the shoulder. Next up is Jojo Sews from Canada, and she won a Forget Me Nots pattern PDF as well, and she used the Mallow dress from Mood Patterns. So this is the only Mood Patterns winner. I see a lot of people use Mood Patterns throughout the challenge. And this is quite a relaxed t-shirt style at the top. It's maxi length and it's got quite a dramatic wrap. I think Jojo actually fastened it up a little bit so it wasn't quite so revealing. She said that she thought long and hard about what she wanted to make for the challenge. She didn't have a lot of occasion for dressy dresses, but she wanted something casual for running errands and things like that. So I think with a pair of trainers, because it's made in a jersey, it can be dressed up or dressed down. So the pictures from Mood that I'm going to show you are wearing it with heels, and worn with trainers it's a completely different look, and it's been really nice and comfortable. So you've got grown on sleeves with this, and it looks like a cuffed sleeve, quite a wide neck, quite a relaxed body, elasticated at the waist, and then this wrap skirt. So next up is Go So Beautiful, and she's based in the States, and she won the Minerva Haberdashery bundle. She made the Fabric Store Diana dress, which is another shirt dress, but this time it's V-necked, grown on sleeves, and then it's cinched in at the waist with a belt and collarless. And she used a linen that she'd had in her stash since the 90s. So well done for liberating that fabric that's been there for 25, maybe 30 years. That's fantastic. And Becky, who made it, has actually got her own YouTube channel. So she wasn't part of the vlogger team, she's only just started, and she very shyly said, oh well, I've actually got a YouTube channel, would you mind watching? So I'm just giving her a shout out, and she did say that she might do a video talking about it. So I will link her channel below if you want to go watch her channel. I don't think she's released the video yet, but I will add that to the playlist. And I did forget to mention at the beginning, I've got a playlist of all the vloggers that took part. So if you want to watch any of the reveal dresses, they're all there as well, and I'll link that below. So another Forget Me Not Patterns winner was Dharma Sews, and she used the Mandy Boat tee as a basis for her dress and made it into a swing dress. So I've seen lots of variations of the Mandy Boat tee, and it's one of my favourite patterns. I've actually got a video about how to sew the Mandy Boat tee. If you're new to sewing with knits, I'll leave a link to that video at the end, because it's a really simple one to start with, because you've not got the net binding or anything like that. It's just a very simple shape, and she extended it just brought it out at the sides and made it into a swing dress. So I've seen lots of variations of the Mandy bow made into a dress, but I've never seen one quite like this. It's absolutely lovely. And she used a lovely floral brush poly for it. It does look like she's actually extended the sleeves on that because it's only elbow length sleeves on the Mandy bow tee. Last but not least is Edna Madeira, and she won the Size Me Vienne collection. That's 3 PDFs. And if you remember, I actually made the Vienne blouse. This is a new collection that Donna's brought out, and again, Donna's a Yorkshire lass, one of the first ones that we approached, and she very happily joined in. So again, really pleased that that's gone to an international winner, because it's sort of a good way of us spreading the news about local companies. Edna used the Peppermint magazine button-up dress, and I did see this used a few times throughout the challenge, and it's sleeveless with princess sleeves, but instead of it being bias bound, it's got a facing. Now, if you're not a fan of facings, this one is a full facing, and it sort of comes to just under the bust. So it's not one of those that's going to be flipping out all the time, but it's up to you. You can swap it out to a bias binding if you want. So what I like about this is it's princess seams. I saw a few people actually using scraps up for the princess seams. A friend of mine on Instagram, she used different sorts of denim, lots of scrap denims that she had, and made a lovely job of it. And I think it was Ruan that said to her that a few people have commented that the button-up dress had come out quite big on some people. And she did say that she'd gone down a size on this, but the princess seams were a bit of a game changer for her in terms of getting a good fit, which they are. You can really adjust the fit on a princess seam. So another really nice summer frock, and that goes from a 28-inch bust up to a 49.5-inch bust. And she made it in a really nice blue rayon. So she said she wanted to challenge herself by using a rayon rather than the traditional cotton or linen. It has got buttons all the way down the front as well, so if you've got an aversion to buttons, maybe it's not the one for you. Again, it's another one to push yourself and extend your skills. So that's it. That's all the winners from the challenge, and I hope you've got some more inspiration. Ruan and I have already discussed that we'll probably be returning with the challenge next year. Seems to have inspired lots and lots of people to use up things that have been lurking in the stash, discover new pattern companies, discover new patterns, new free patterns, and discover new vloggers as well. So yeah, I mean, it'd be wonderful if we could open it even more internationally. Yeah, I think it's inspired a lot of people, made a lot of people push themselves to use new skills as well. Like I say, a deadline really does sort of give you that impetus to get something finished. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. I've got a bias binding tutorial for all those bias bound frocks that I've just shown you coming up next week. So thank you for watching. I shall speak to you later. Bye.